Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us today because, honestly, we're doing something a little bit meta, and it is incredibly fascinating. We are constantly absorbing information on how to manage our money, right? But today, we're actually going to look behind the curtain. We're going to deconstruct the perfect blueprint used to create the ultimate beginner guide to financial success. So instead of just learning a bunch of financial rules, we are analyzing a master template that's designed specifically to teach those rules effectively to absolutely anyone. If you love structure, clarity, and figuring out how complex information is best delivered, well, you are in exactly the right place. Okay, let's just dive right into this. Our source material today is really quite unique. It's actually a master prompt. Think of it as a set of incredibly strict instructions detailing exactly how to construct a top-tier financial education script completely from scratch. This isn't just about, throwing some money tips on a blank page. No, the instruction here is to act as a world-class educator. And that means every single word, every visual cue, and every transition has to be meticulously engineered to capture attention, explain those tricky concepts simply, and keep a beginner totally glued to the screen. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting 1. The blueprint parameters. 2. Structuring the core content. 3. Driving engagement. 4. Visuals and B-roll ideas. And finally 5. The strong conclusion. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, the blueprint parameters, setting the constraints.
The requirements outlined here illustrate the exact quantitative balance needed to keep a highly engaging, beginner-friendly script moving perfectly on pace. We're talking a length of exactly 7 to 8 minutes, paired with a word count of 1,200 to 1,500 words, all in 100% original English. Now, why does this math actually matter? Well, because it dictates the pacing. If you crunch the numbers, that averages out to around 150 to 190 words per minute. That is a brisk, energetic, totally conversational pace. It prevents our educator from droning on like some boring college lecture, forcing them to be concise, punchy, and original. It's basically the mathematical sweet spot for human attention.
Moving right along to Section 2, structuring the core content, the load-bearing walls.
This outlines the mandatory, step-by-step sequential flow of the script. Think of these as the literal load-bearing walls of our educational house. Step 1 demands a powerful opening hook. You have to grab the viewer right by the collar in those first 5 seconds. Step 2 is the introduction, setting the stage and telling them why this actually matters. Step 3, that's the meat of the content. 10 smart money rules everyone should know. And it's structured as a list of 10 because, let's face it, lists are just highly digestible for beginners. And finally, step 4 is a strong conclusion to wrap the whole shebang together. For a world-class educator, this logical flow is totally non-negotiable. But here is the absolute crucial point. A world-class educator doesn't just list out 10 dry rules like save more than you spend and expect the audience to care. The blueprint explicitly demands that these rules are supported by practical examples, everyday financial tips, and crucially, common mistakes. This is exactly how you build a bridge between abstract financial theory and a beginner's actual day-to-day life. By showing them the common pitfalls, the mistakes they are probably already making, you create a relatable, highly practical learning environment that actually sticks. All right, let's look at Section 3, driving engagement, hooking the audience. The source material explicitly requires the inclusion of what they call curiosity hooks. What does that actually mean in practice? Well, it means you don't give away all the answers at once. A curiosity hook creates this sort of micro-tension. It's when the educator says something like, rule number 4 is great, but rule number 7 is the exact strategy millionaires use to avoid taxes, and we'll get to that in just a minute. See what that does? It keeps the brain leaning forward, just waiting for the payoff. This is an absolutely mandatory tool in our blueprint to ensure the script stays engaging for that entire 7 to 8 minute runtime. Which brings us to Section 4, Visuals and B-roll Ideas, the interior design. Notice how this separates two completely distinct disciplines that the scriptwriter has to balance at the exact same time. On one side, you've got your audio and script elements. That's the original words and those curiosity hooks we were just talking about. But on the flip side, the prompt requires visual suggestions and B-roll ideas. You see, a world-class educator knows that beginners learn just as much from what they see as what they hear. The script literally has to dictate the visuals, whether that's a chart showing compound interest in action or just B-roll of someone budgeting at their kitchen table, to visually reinforce those 10 smart money rules being spoken. So think about it. We've built the script structure, we've integrated practical examples and common mistakes, we've added our curiosity hooks to keep attention, and we've plotted out all our visual B-roll. We are nearing the very end of our 8 minutes, but how exactly does this master blueprint demand we actually end the lesson? That leads us right into section 5, the strong conclusion, wrapping it up. The source blueprint insists on pairing a strong conclusion with a CTA, or call to action, and this is absolutely vital. Sure, a strong conclusion summarizes the 10 money rules, but the CTA, that is where the true value lies for a beginner's guide to financial success. You can't just leave the learner hanging with a bunch of new knowledge. You literally have to direct their momentum. A world-class educator tells them exactly what to do next, whether that's opening a high-yield savings account today, auditing their monthly subscriptions right now, or just applying rule number 1 by tomorrow morning. The CTA is what turns education into action. So, we've just deconstructed the absolute ideal blueprint for creating an engaging, beginner-friendly guide to financial success. You now know the exact pacing, the structure, the absolute need for relatable examples, the sheer power of curiosity hooks, and the necessity of a strong call to action. So I'm going to leave you with this one thought. If you were to take this exact world-class blueprint today and start building your own educational content, what would your opening hook be to instantly grab the world's attention?